Hi friends, today we're going to be learning about multiplying two digits multiplied of 10 by two-digit numbers using a place value chart. So some of the vocabulary that we will be using for this lesson is the associative property, a rule that states that grouping of factors does not change the product. So 3 times 10 multiplied by 34 equals 3 times 10 times 34. Multiply the product of a given whole number in another whole number. Place value chart. So a place value chart looks like this. A place value chart is a tool used to show the value of each digit in a number based on its position. Then the place value desk, as shown as right here with the hundreds, tens, and ones. A visual circle used on the chart to represent units, ones, tens, hundreds. Factor the numbers that are being multiplied together to get a product. Product, the final answer to a multiplication problem. Hi friends, so for our first problem we have 20 times 34. So we can use the associative property to make this equation easier so we can solve this question. So we can break it down 2 times 10 times 34. We can break it down even more to 2 times 10 times 34. So we are going to place the value of 34 into our place value chart first of all. So we have 3 tens and 4 ones. Then we're going to multiply this 34 to shift everything over. So we will shift the ones over to make 10, demonstrated right here. Same with the tens. We're going to shift this over times 10 to make the hundreds. And then we're going to times that value by 2 since it's 10 times 34 times 2. So that's why we have duplicated the ones in the hundreds and the tens to make 680. Hi friends, so for our next problem, it is going to be 30 times 34, or 3 times 10 times 34, or 3 times 10 times 34, which gives us the answer 1020. So what we're going to do is the 10 times 34. So with that, we're going to shift each one of these place values, the 10s to the hundreds and the 1s to the tens. So we will have 3, 4, and shift each one of these over. And then we're going to multiply each one of these shifted values by 3. So we will have 12 tens, since 10, we have 10 hundreds, that will shift over. So we will have 0 in the ones, we have 2 left in there, and since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ones, that is going to shift over to give us 1020. So for our next problem, we're going to have 30 times 42. So that could be with the associative property 3 times 10 times 42, or 3 times 10 times 42. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our place values for 42 times 10. So we have 4 tens and 2 ones. So we're going to shift each one of these place values to the next value. So we're going to have 2 tens, and then these 4 tens are going to the hundreds. 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to times the value, so we have 420 right now for our values. And then we are going to times each of those by 3. So we currently have 6 tens and 0 ones, and then we will have 1200 value, 12 tens. So that is going to shift over to the thousands place. So we have 1260 for our last answer. Thank you, friends, for watching along. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.